Hey guys, welcome back to day 2 of Inktober. So today's prompt was Moon on the Woodland Magic prompt list, and originally I wanted to do something involving my little witchy character Hazel, but I also wanted to try something new with doing a full moon and sort of a galaxy type ink wash. So that's ultimately what I went up with doing, and I actually really had a lot of fun with it because I could be really loose with it and put a lot of color down, and it's kind of hard to make mistakes when you're doing something like this. So here I am just putting down some water, just wetting the paper because this is definitely a wet on wet technique, and I love how the ink looks when you put it down on wet paper and you can see it just sort of spreading and you get those nice fractal edges. I also added some salt, but I don't have the right type of salt. I know you're supposed to use rock salt because it has different sizes, and I just had table salt, but I still think the effect looks pretty cool. And I wanted to give it the look of like stars in the background, so I think I achieved that. I don't know who else is in the mood for Halloween, but doing all these art pieces and watching everybody else's Inktober videos and seeing everybody else's drawings, it really has me in the mood for Halloween and spooky things. And so I think today I really want to play a scary game, and so I think I'm gonna log into Steam and see what's available for me to download that's scary, because I'm kind of in the mood to be scared. If you guys can hear this song, it sort of reminds me of the Halloween theme from the Halloween movie, which my husband is actually watching in the other room. So I thought it was pretty cool and I added it to the video. So I'm just working on colors here, just mixing a little bit. It got a little bit muddy in certain places, so I tried to add a little bit more color. But these inks are super concentrated, and it takes kind of a lot of water to dilute it. And so I did a lot of blotting with the paper towel, and I actually really like the way it looks when you blot it out with paper towels because it gives it some texture and you can really see the paper underneath. And here I'm just kind of softening out the edges so that I don't have that hard ink line because I also wanted to add some sort of glowy effect around the moon to make it look like the light of the moon, you know, was shining outward. And so I was just trying to soften that a little bit. This technique is a lot of fun. I really like putting the ink down on the wet paper and watching it spread. And this paper actually handles the ink and the water really well. I did have a little bit of buckling, but it wasn't too bad. And once everything dried, I put the painting underneath a heavy object, and it straightened it out pretty good. There's still a little bit of curl to the paper, but it's really not that bad. So for a beginning watercolor paper, it held up really well. And if anybody wants to see the supplies that I'm using for these videos, I do have an unboxing Inktober art supplies video, and I will add that to the end of this video so you can go watch that if you're curious about what supplies I'm using this year. So here I'm just coloring in the landscape at the bottom. I just wanted a solid black because I wanted it to be kind of a silhouette. I also thought about adding trees, like pine trees or some creepy skeletal trees in silhouette, but I wanted the simplicity of the moon and the sort of galaxy sky, and so I decided not to add any trees and just keep it simple. And now I'm just wiping off the salt. Since the background is dry, it just really brushed right off, so that was kind of nice. There were a few places where I think it dissolved a little bit in the water and it was a little bit harder to get off. It sort of left a little bit of residue, mostly in the darker places where there was a lot more ink and a lot more water, but overall it came off really easy. And I think I want to get some rock salt so that I can also experiment with different sizes of salts and see how that looks in a wash. So now I'm starting on the moon, and I really love how it turned out in the end. Here I'm just kind of erasing a little bit my pencil line. I missed on the one side just because I had already put down a little bit of water and I didn't want to erase over the water and tear up the paper. And I kind of used a reference picture of the moon. Mostly I just laid down a little bit darker colors wherever and sort of tried to vaguely make it look like the moon, because I didn't need it to be an exact replica. I just needed it to be identifiable as our moon. So I did have a lot of fun with this. I also went with kind of a yellow and orange color palette for the moon because I really wanted it to contrast with the blues and purples in the sky, and I think I really achieved that, and I think it looks really nice. You guys, I think this would be a really cool technique for making something look rusty, especially with the colors, the oranges and yellows. Maybe I might play around with that in another painting and see if I can make something look like it's rusting. So here's after it's dried a little bit, I added in some white India ink. You can see in certain places there's a little bit of white. The white ink is not the easiest to work with. It's not fully opaque, even when it's 100% ink and no water at all. And it dilutes really easily if the painting is wet at all. So I'm not sure how I feel about the white ink. I think I need to practice a little bit more with it. But for the case of this moon, I think what I ended up doing with it looks okay. And I'm just adding some darker places to give it some contrast. And I think here I was actually looking at a reference photo of the moon to try to make it look a little bit more moon-like and not just like a rusty blob. So these brushes that I bought, they're from Amazon, Germany. They're just a cheapy, like 25 pack that I bought off Amazon because I just wanted some beginner brushes that I could use. I didn't want to have to pay a whole lot for a medium that I've never used before. And they're actually okay. There's a few of them where the hairs in the brush are like pointing in different directions or sticking out at the top. And I try not to use those because I don't have as much control with them, and the little hairs sticking out the top are really annoying. So I have a few that I really stick with because I like them, and one of them is this round brush. But again, if anybody is interested in knowing what brush set I'm using, what supplies I'm using, I do show them in the Inktober unboxing video that I did, and I can also link everything in the description of this video. So now everything is dry. I'm just kind of going in and putting the final touches on the moon, deepening up some of the darker places, and just kind of getting those last details out. I just went in a little bit with the white Signo pen, add a few little points for stars, a little bit of brighter spots in the background. And that's it. So thank you guys so much for watching this video. I really appreciate you. I have a couple more videos that I did for Inktober up through day 4, and then I will be doing some more art and recording some more videos. I'm just trying to get them up as I can. It's quite time consuming, so stay tuned, you guys, and also keep an eye out for those scary gameplay videos because I'm really in the mood for some horror. Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this video, and I will see you next time. Thank you so much.